Hi there. Welcome to the Peace, Love, and Paige YouTube channel. My name is Paige, and I'm so glad to have you here. This morning, I wanted to walk you through just a little sequence of movement, intuitive movement, as to how I prime my body for the day. So I woke up feeling a little tired, and I'm looking for a little more energy, and I have some aches going on in my body, and I want to show you an example of how I take care of my body and how you can do the same for yourself too in your home. And so, how I usually love to start mornings like this is just starting with like a gentle bounce, a flick of the wrist, shaking out the hands, waking up, moving the blood, moving the body, connecting with the breath, staying light on the toes, finding this buoyancy, this bounce. Just allow yourself to move however it feels enlivening for you, whatever feels like it's going to feel the best. Shaking out the hands and the wrists are an amazing way to release stuck tension when maybe we don't even really realize it. I notice when my diet is a little off, I begin to experience tenderness in the joints of my right hand. And a lot of people, a lot of doctors and specialists will label this as arthritis, which is true. It is inflammation of the joints. But I notice that my arthritis or inflammation of the joints comes when I'm eating a little more sugar or refined sugar than I usually do. And that's what causes this inflammation to happen inside the body. And so it's really important to understand what we're eating, what we're putting into our body, and beginning to take care of our body in ways that allow for healing to begin. And a lot of that has to do with movement. So moving the hips. See what that feels like. And often the movement is just so small. It's very intentional. It doesn't have to be big, expansive workouts where you're just sweating your butt off. Instead, there's this magic in quality over quantity, the quality over your movement. This is how we are tapping into the physical and emotional body to communicate that we are safe. And this is a loving connection. And that's when the body begins to release and let go of anything that it's holding on to. So as you can see, I've kind of moved into this forward fold, half forward fold situation, swaying the hips back and forth, lubricating those joints. Maybe that feels good for you. So finding just some free movement here, moving however is going to feel super yummy to you first thing in the morning. Beautiful. And if you feel so called and ready, we'll move into a forward or a side stretch. Arms can come up over the head. Widen the stance a little bit here. And then taking your bend over to the right. So grabbing a hold of that left wrist, reaching up and then over. So creating as much length as possible in the side bodies rather than just collapsing all the way over. See, we have a very short right side body when we do that. Instead, let's stay as long as we possibly can. Root down into that left foot, plug the shoulders down and away from the ears, and then bend. With every breath, expand the ribs. Every exhale, soften. Good. We'll come back up to center. Maybe shake that out. Check in. I'm feeling more awake already. Beautiful. Let's take it to the other side. Arms come up overhead. Grab a hold of that right wrist. Reach up. Huge breath in. And then as you exhale, take your stretch to the left, opening the right side body here. Get strong in your feet. Allow them to be your sturdy foundation. Then connect to the breath, expanding the right side body, the right side ribs with each inhale. Then with each exhale, soften and let go just a little bit more. Your next inhale, come back to center. I feel like swaying like a tree. My body is looking for clearly some very dynamic movement this morning. Static movement means still, and there's a lot of great healing power in static movement. And there's just as much healing power in dynamic movement, which means moving. And that's what my body needs a little bit more this morning. Listening to the body is where we find the answers to healing and what's going to nourish us the most. Feel free to move around. You don't have to stay stuck in one place. I've connected the fingers behind my back. Stand up, press down through the feet, stand up taller, tuck the tailbone here. And then with the fingertips interlaced, begin to reach the fists away from the body. Maybe you drop the chin to the chest, getting into the back of the neck. Come back to your breath if you've lost it. If you want to add on a forward fold, you can widen the stance a little bit. Come all the way down. I've got some gentle movement happening here. Bending one knee and then the other. Kind of playing with this tilted action. Getting in a little micro twist to the spine. Coming back to the breath if you've lost it. I'm going to release the palms, press them down to the mat. I'm just going to hang out here for a minute. I'm going to soften the neck entirely. And then allow the crown of the head, the very top of the head, to reach down towards the mat. So just relax, soften. We carry so much tension in the neck and shoulders. And by softening the head down towards the mat, we allow for that tension to release, opening up the pathways for blood and other nervous system connection. That junction right there at the cervical spine is the corridor between the brain and the body. It's where the vagus nerve runs. It's where your spinal cord is. It's like the master system of the body right there at the neck. So taking gentle care of it, checking in with loving attention at least once per day. Beautiful. I can feel my heart rate coming down. I can feel my anxiety coming down. Feeling more relaxed. Beautiful. I feel like planting my palms, lifting the heels, bending the knees, and coming into a little squatted position here. It's not quite Malasana, though. If you want to, we can widen the stance. Now we're in Malasana. This is great. So opening up the hips a bit more here. You can either bring the hands to heart center, that might feel nice, or you can bring the hands to the legs. Again, I'm sticking with this dynamic movement, this slow, gentle shift between side to side. It's feeling really soothing for me right now. It's really gentle, it's loving, it's like easy. It's easing my body into the movement that's to come for the rest of the day. So it's like a gentle wake up. And when you're ready, you can straighten the legs. The legs can stay a bit wider. And then forward fold again. Big exhales here. Maybe you close down the eyes and set an intention for the day. Who do you want to be? And how do you want to feel? Seal it in with a breath. Gonna walk the hands out a little bit. The feet are gonna come back, moving into a downward dog. So the palms are pressing firmly into the mat. Press down between the thumb and that first finger. Really pressing to lift the hips up and back. The heels reach down towards the mat. Maybe take a bend in the knees. Maybe you shift back and forth there. Bending one knee, reaching the heel, and then taking it to the other side. I can feel my movement slowing down a little bit. Feeling more regulated, more intentional, more connected, more relaxed, more embodied. And then from here, drop the knees down to the mat, shift the hips back towards the heels, moving into a child's pose. Connecting with your breath here. Arms extend long. Hands pressing into the mat. Feeling the belly expand with breath between the thighs. Against the thighs. And then envision sending the breath and the attention to the low back. So that entire area of the body is expanding with oxygen, and you feel the front by expanding the belly against or in between the thighs. But maybe you feel the micro expansion happening in the back body, the low back. Saturating the core with fresh air. Long, slow exhales. One more full round here. Beautiful. When you're ready, gently press yourself up into the knees. The hands and knees will be on the floor, but we're going to go into a toes pose here. So begin to shift the weight back towards the heels, hips to heels. And so we're opening up the foot here, and this is really, really, really intense. And so if you need to come out of it, just begin to shift the weight more towards the hands and connect them with the mat. If you have the range, you can begin to slowly and gently and compassionately walk the hands up the thighs to find this seated position, tall spine, really getting into the soles of the feet here. And then connect with the breath. This is an amazing pose to find comfort in the discomfort. All of yoga is such a powerful practice of that, for that. And there are very specific poses that you will find that challenge you the most. And this is one for me. How well are you going to hang in the tension? How well are you going to allow the discomfort and stress and perhaps unknown to consume you in this pose and in your life? It's beautifully symbolic. Take one more huge breath in here. Exhale, let it go. Beautiful. Hands can come down to the mat. Let's go ahead and untuck the toes. My legs feel like shaking out a little bit, so tap the feet. Shake them out. Yeah. Just like we did the palms and the hands at the beginning. Beautiful. I am feeling more connected to myself already, and I hope that you are too. Feel free to be in a seated position for as long as you'd like. This would be a really great opportunity to move into a few minutes of stillness, of meditation, of breath work, connecting breath and body, or moving into journaling. Let's take 3 more full rounds of breath together. And this is where I will leave you for now, my friends. Feel free to stay as long as you can, as long as you'd like, in this embodied, connected state that you have built for yourself. And I'll see you in the next video.